Censorship, propaganda, and subverting freedom of speech are the order of the day. Such are the hallmarks of a society that believes that a fascist government is the best way to run a country. Don't ask questions. Let the party get on with it. And above all, don't criticize our authority. V for Vendetta's operating premise derives from the story of Guy Fawkes, the 17th century Catholic revolutionary, an historical name for a terrorist, who on November the 5th, 1605, contrived to blow up the Houses of Parliament and bring about the downfall of James I and the Protestant establishment. Fawkes's attempt failed, and he was hanged and entered British history as rebel hero. Each year across England and Ireland on November the 5th, bonfires blaze and fireworks light the sky in celebration of the foiling of Fawkes's plot. British school children recite the rhyme which begins, "Remember, remember, the 5th of November, the gunpowder treason and plot. I know of no reason why gunpowder treason should ever be forgot." Fawkes masks are sold throughout the country, and effigies of the conspirator are burned. The night is meant to commemorate the strength of both the Parliament and Protestantism. But the reality is that November the 5th celebrates Fawkes's bravado and cheekiness for going up against the establishment against impossible odds. V for Vendetta marks James McTeague's debut as a feature film director, following work as a commercial director, as well as assistant director on such films as the Matrix trilogy, Star Wars Episode II, and Moulin Rouge. McTeague describes V for Vendetta as a political thriller first and foremost, with a very dark and multifaceted character at its center, who on one hand believes he can bring about great social change, but who on the other hand has a murderous vendetta towards anyone who's done him wrong.
It's important that movies raise questions. They don't have to answer them, but they should raise them. If you had to be nailed down to what the most important question this movie raises is, what would it be?
I think I would go back to what you just said. You know, I don't think it's for me to say what the one most important thing is in the film, because I think it says different things to different people, and I think what you bring into the cinema, you know, you'll take out, and it's probably different to the person sitting next to you. And so I don't want to say it's about one particular idea or theme, because I think that, you know, it is multi-layered and there is a lot of things in there.
While preparing V for Vendetta, McTeague was influenced by works like Stanley Kubrick's A Clockwork Orange, George Orwell's 1984, Ray Bradbury's Fahrenheit 451, and Lindsay Anderson's If. V for Vendetta cautions against the dangers of corruption, control, manipulation, and repression, while exploring the perils of extremism, whether it be a government abusing its power or an individual taking the law into his own hands.
Every day that brings us closer to November, every day that man remains free is one more failure. 347 days, gentlemen. 347 failures!
Chancellor, we do not have the adequate force.
We are being buried beneath the avalanche of your inadequacies, Mr. Creedy!
Why is this almost the first feature film to deal with the post-9/11 situation?
Oh, you know, I think for a long while, you know, the climate after 9/11 was a different climate to what it is now, and I think for a while there people were afraid to sort of put their hand up or stick their head out and say, you know, things are different, things don't have to be this way, and I think it's about having a different voice and about putting things out there that, you know, question what's going on around you or make you conscious of what's going on around you.
Award-winning Australian actor Hugo Weaving, who plays V, has starred in two of the biggest trilogies in film history, playing elf leader Elrond in the Lord of the Rings films and Agent Smith in the Matrix films. Weaving's other film credits include The Adventures of Priscilla, Queen of the Desert, Proof, The Interview, and Little Fish. In his quest to free the people of England from the corruption and cruelty that have poisoned their government, V condemns the tyrannical nature of their appointed leaders and invites his fellow citizens to join him in the shadows of Parliament on November the 5th, Guy Fawkes Day. V wants to do what Guy Fawkes and the plotters of the original November the 5th weren't able to do, to blow up the Houses of Parliament, because he believes, as they believed, that they have become a symbol of tyranny. V is, at once, literary, flamboyant, tender, and intellectual, a man dedicated to freeing his fellow citizens from those who have terrorized them into compliance. He is also bitter, lonely, and driven by a violent personal vendetta.
I need you to help me unpack V. He's an ambiguous and a complex character.
Yeah.
How can you help me with that?
Yeah, I think if you want to unpack him,
Yeah.
well, let's segment him, shall we?
Good. Okay.
Okay, so he's a human being.
Right.
He's also a masked man, and there's a certain history of masked men in films, and there are certain characteristics they have in common. And he's also an idea. And the idea is the most important thing about V. The idea that V embodies or represents really is that governments should be responsive to the people that they represent. And this is the thing he's trying to bring about. He's trying to bring about change within a particular country. Because the people living in that country are totally oppressed. The man is the darker side of the character. The lighter side is the idea. Well, the lighter side is the masked man, the man of panache, the theatrical man. But the human being underneath the mask is a very damaged individual. He's been tortured and burnt, but tortured by members of the now government, and he has this desire to take revenge upon them for the things they've done to him.
V is a very complex and ambiguous man. He's been imprisoned and tortured, mentally and physically abused as a victim of genetic experimentation. And that has created this vengeful angel who's both assassin and savior, a very educated and cultured man who believes strongly in individual freedom. V's use of the Guy Fawkes mask and persona functions as both practical and symbolic elements of the story. V is never seen without his mask. Though aided by lighting and cinematography, the actor needed to convey a great deal of emotion solely through his voice and body language, as no part of his eyes, mouth, or face are visible behind V's facade. He wears the mask to hide his physical scars, and in obscuring his identity, V becomes more than just a man with a revolutionary idea. He becomes the idea itself. This underscores V's belief that a person can be defeated, but ideas endure and retain their power forever.
Well, he's born through fire as Evie is born in rain, in a way.
In rain, yes. There's a baptism of fire and water.
I mean, Evie's birth comes through torture, really, as well as his. But it's the birth itself happens in rain.
V's mask also provides contrast to the metaphorical masks worn by his fellow citizens, who have surrendered their individual identities and beliefs in order to assimilate and avoid persecution by the government. Natalie Portman, who plays Evie, is well known for her role in Star Wars Episodes 1, 2, and 3. Her feature film debut was in The Professionals. Her other films include Mars Attacks, The Garden State, Heat, and Where the Heart Is. Portman won a Golden Globe Award for Best Supporting Actress, as well as an Academy Award nomination in the same category for her role in Mike Nichols' big screen adaptation of the Broadway hit Closer.